This is section 1.5. Can be found in your textbook on page 36 and 37. Today you're going to solve what is called a compound inequality. So previously we learned how to solve an inequality. So a compound inequality, what that is it joins two inequalities. And you'll see the words and or, right? So you're going to go through the same steps as you did before. We're also going to graph these on a number line. Okay, the only difference is you'll have two small problems and you're going to join them kind of together when you make your number line. All right, so example number 1, you can see we have 3x greater than or equal to 6 and 2x is less than 12. So first step is just to go ahead and solve each one just kind of one at a time. All right, so if I have 3 times x greater than or equal to 6, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. All right, so I have x greater than or equal to 2. So all done with that. Then I go ahead and go to the second part. It says 2x less than 12. So I divide both sides by 2. That will give me x less than 6. All right. So I solved my two parts, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our number line. When you're making your number line, again, keep in mind some of the things we talked about before. You may have a solid circle or an open circle depending upon whether or not it says equal to. So when I graph this, I'm going to have a solid circle at the 2. When I graph this, I'm going to have an open circle over there by the 6. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make a number line. All right, so I'm going to put my 0 right about there. All right, so that means we got 2. And we've got 6. All right, so the first thing I usually do when I'm making my number line is just to focus on, again, the kind of key numbers, which would be the 2 and the 6. So I'm going to put those on there first, and then we're going to figure out the rest from there. So I'm going to go to the 2, and it says x greater than or equal to. So as I mentioned, that means I can have a solid circle here at 2. Okay? Then I'm going to go to the 6 part. It says x less than 6. It does not say equal to. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to do an open circle here at the 6. All right. Now, what does that mean as far as my solution? I have to kind of put these two things together because, again, it says and. So x has to be greater than or equal to the 2. Okay. Greater than or equal to 2 means I would shade to the right, greater than. All right. But it also has to be and less than the 6. Okay, so if I look at that part of it, it has to be less than the 6. So if it has to be greater than the 2 and less than the 6, what that means is we're going to get all these numbers in between the 2 and the 6. And that's what our solution would be. I could have 2, because that was greater than or equal to. I could have 3, I could have 4, I could have 5, I could have 5.9, okay? But 6 not included, so it has to be less than the 6. And that's what your solution would be. The and usually looks like that on your number line. You kind of get that chunk shaded between those two solutions that you got when you solved your inequalities. All right. Second example, you can see is going to be the or compound inequality. So we have 5x greater than 15 or 3x less than negative 3. So again, just like the first example, first thing you worry about is just solving the inequality. So you go ahead and do that first. So we're going to divide here both sides by 5. X greater than 3. Here we're going to divide both sides by 3. X less than negative 1. All right. And again, just like before, if when you are solving for your x, if you happen to divide by a negative number, then you do still have to flip the inequality around. And here I just divided by a 3. My answer was negative, but I did not divide by a negative 3, so I'm all fine there. All right. So again, I'm going to go ahead and sketch out my number line here, and I'm going to put on my key points here. So this will go 0, negative 1, 1, 2, 3. All right. So since both of these, it just says greater than 3, less than -1, does not say equal to. So when I make my graph here, again, pay attention. I'm going to make open circles. So I'm going to make an open circle here at the -1, and make an open circle here at the 3. All right. Then you go back and pay attention to your inequalities. This one said x is greater than 3. So this is my 3, and I want numbers greater than. That means I'm going this way. All right. This one says x is less than -1. So there's my -1. Less than means I'm going this way. Okay, so you can see the or number line looks a little bit different than the one we did for the and. So it can be greater than or equal to 3 that way, or it could be less than the -1 going in the other way. All right, there you go.